Hey everyone! Today we're taking a completely fascinating top-down tour of a deeply important biology topic for your board exams, animal hormones. We are going to decode the complex concepts and break down all the crucial terms you need to know. So, let's just jump right in.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. Animal hormones and glands. 2. The master gland. 3. Thyroid and parathyroid. 4. Emergency and sugar control. 5. Sex hormones. And finally, 6. The feedback mechanism.
Okay, Section 1. Animal hormones and glands.
So you can think of hormones as highly specialized chemical messengers. They're secreted by specific structures in our body called glands, and basically, our body uses these chemicals to send urgent instructions to different organs. You see, instead of using electrical impulses like the nervous system does, this system relies on chemicals flowing right through your bloodstream to deeply regulate things like your growth, metabolism, and overall coordination. Now, understanding the difference between endocrine and exocrine glands is an absolute classic board exam question, so definitely lock this in. Exocrine glands actually have specialized tubes, or ducts, to transport their secretions. On the flip side, endocrine glands are totally ductless. They literally secrete their hormones directly into our bloodstream. And for today's explainer, our entire focus is going to be strictly on these ductless endocrine glands.
Moving right along to Section 2, the master gland.
Safely located all the way up in your brain, the pituitary gland might be tiny in size, but trust me, it is incredibly powerful. It secretes what's known as the growth hormone. This specific chemical messenger is entirely responsible for regulating your overall body growth and development. Basically, this little gland is the boss that decides exactly how tall you're ultimately going to grow.
Now, let's look at the extremes here because it's super interesting. If there's a deficiency of this growth hormone during childhood, it leads to dwarfism, where a person's height remains well below average. But if this exact same hormone is released in excess, the result is gigantism, causing a person to grow abnormally tall. It just goes to show you that everything in our body is a game of precise chemical balance.
Section 3. Thyroid and parathyroid.
Traveling a bit lower, right into our neck area, we find the thyroid gland. This gland releases a crucial hormone called thyroxine. You can honestly think of thyroxine as your body's ultimate project manager. Its main job is to keep your metabolism and growth perfectly balanced, essentially controlling how fast or slow your body uses energy on a daily basis.
But here's the catch. If your body experiences a deficiency of thyroxine, it leads to a disease known as goiter, which causes a very noticeable swelling right in the neck area. This is exactly why having iodine in our diet is so incredibly important, because iodine actively helps prevent this specific deficiency from ever happening.
Tucked right behind the thyroid, literally attached to the back of it, is the aptly named parathyroid gland. Its absolute #1 job is to secrete the parathyroid hormone, which tightly regulates the calcium levels in your blood. And remember, calcium isn't just for building strong bones. Your nerves and muscles desperately need it to function properly, too.
So the crucial takeaway here is that a deficiency in this specific hormone causes a condition called hypocalcemia. That basically means you have dangerously low levels of calcium in your blood, which can seriously mess up your body's normal muscle and nerve operations.
Let's dive into Section 4, Emergency and Sugar Control.
Sitting right on top of your kidneys, kind of like little caps, are the adrenal glands. Have you ever felt that intense panic right before a massive board exam, or when you get a sudden fright? Well, that's your adrenal glands pumping out a hormone called adrenaline. It instantly prepares your body for sudden emergency conditions, throwing you straight into that famous fight or flight survival state.
However, if this gland ever fails to properly produce its vital hormone, it results in a really serious condition known as Addison's disease. When this happens, managing stress or even just maintaining normal blood pressure becomes incredibly difficult for the body.
Just below the stomach, we have the pancreas. This organ is basically your body's dedicated sugar manager. It releases two key hormones, insulin and glucagon. Working together, they act almost like an internal thermostat, constantly adjusting in the background to maintain perfect blood glucose and sugar levels in your system. If this automatic background sugar management stops working, specifically if there's a deficiency of insulin, the body develops diabetes. It's a condition you've very likely heard of, and it really goes to show just how heavily we depend on these chemical managers just to process the food we eat every day.
Section 5. Sex hormones. Up until now, the hormones we've discussed, like adrenaline and thyroxine, function exactly the same in everyone.
But sex hormones are entirely different between males and females. Males primarily produce testosterone, while females produce progesterone and estrogen. These are the specific chemicals entirely responsible for all the major physical changes that happen in the body during puberty.
And finally, Section 6, the feedback mechanism.
Now that we've finished our physical tour of the major endocrine glands, a huge, obvious question remains. How exactly does our body know when to release these powerful chemicals and how much to release? The answer is the feedback mechanism. It's an incredibly intelligent internal regulatory system. It ensures that hormones aren't just randomly flowing all the time, but are only released exactly when they're needed and in highly precise amounts. Let's actually walk through this using our adrenaline response as a step-by-step example. Step 1, you're just sitting there, totally calm in a normal resting state. No adrenaline needed. Step 2, suddenly an emergency hits. Your feedback mechanism instantly recognizes this. Step 3, adrenaline rapidly spikes and floods your blood so you can react quickly. And most importantly, Step 4, the second the danger passes and you're fully safe, the feedback mechanism tells the adrenal gland to stop secreting. The whole system just resets back to normal.
It's honestly such a remarkably elegant system of control and coordination. Before we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with something to really think about. If this incredible feedback mechanism were to suddenly fail during a truly dangerous situation and the emergency trigger never reached your adrenal gland, what would actually happen to your body? Think deeply about that, keep reviewing your concepts, and best of luck mastering this for your board exams.